Lego, my Jameso. Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Friday, so it's Bricklink time. I'm going to discuss the features under account here for My Bricklink. If you're looking for the features under purchases or My Bricklink in these other two columns, there's a link right here in the video to them, and there's a link in the description because those are the previous two episodes. All right, so the first thing, we're going to go to settings. Here is the My Settings page. Don't be scared or nervous. I know there's a lot here, but I'm going to talk about each and every one of them. First, My Action Items. This is like a notification center for Bricklink. It allows you to check off boxes for things when where you're buying or you're selling, you have problem resolution. You can select various things here. I don't typically mess with much of this. They have a pretty good system for their default settings, but you can always check on this and say, hey, if you say, you want to get a non-shipping alert or things out of the ordinary, if you always want to make sure you get them in the future, then you could select these boxes. And there's plenty of other ones on here. I don't need to read through each one of them, but these are just notifications. If you do have a question regarding any one of these, please leave a comment and I'll get back to you and tell you what it means. Up next, we have My Catalog settings. The catalog here is pretty much the list of parts or sets or whatever items are on Bricklink. I don't edit much here. They have good defaults, but if you wanted to edit things, this first one up top is My Catalog Item Detail Settings. This is pretty much when you're searching for something, so you can sort it by color, you can show the dimensions. I show mine in inches, and there's other selections here for how things will appear. Feel free to play around with it and check out how the pages look. The next one then is for your inventory when you're looking at your spreadsheet, so you can change things like showing the price guide next to the links. I like that. The third section here is just a way to filter out things you don't want to come across when you're searching for things. So for example, I can set my search to be any sets released from the year 2000 or newer. So if I search for a classic space figure and I find him, I then cannot see what sets he was available in because they're from the year before 2000. So that's just a different way of filtering. And down bottom, these are just settings you can select to have different features on your page for when you're finding a part or a set or anything. Next, we have the My Chat settings. I actually cannot get this tab open. I've never used it before, I guess. I'm not sure if it's for chatting with forums or if it's for chatting with Bricklink support. I can't get it open, can't figure it out. I've done just fine without it, and anytime I want to message customers or other stores to buy things, I just go right up here to the Messages tab and find everything I need there. So let's go into My Contact settings. This page just lets you adjust how you want to receive invoices, messages, coupons, and or even marketing from Lego. You can send them both to your emails or just through Bricklink or just your email and not Bricklink. You have multiple options here, but they're all just about the same, so feel free to read through it. This one doesn't need too much explaining. You're just setting your preferences for how you wish to be contacted. I guess I should just mention this text box briefly. This area is where you can type something that will automatically reply to somebody that tries to contact you through Bricklink if you don't do messaging through there. And again, it says like HTML tags will be stripped, so you're not allowed to include those. They'll just have to email you. Next, we have the My Discussion Forum settings. I really don't use this. I don't have much information to help you here, but there is just a lot of different settings you could choose from for the discussion forum. I'll read things on there, but I'm not an active member in there, so I don't really have any help with this, and if I do someday, I'll definitely post a video on it, but you shouldn't need to worry too much about this as a seller or even a buyer at the moment. It's just one of those additional features to be more active on Bricklink. Then we have the My Feedback setting. This is the same thing I discussed in last week's video, so if you're interested in hearing about that, check that video out. It's just essentially another link to get to the same place. So let's go right into My Order settings. This page is wonderful, and you should get a little used to it, or at least check it out a couple times and play around with it till you find what works for you. This is how you edit orders that you place and orders that you receive. So for example, in here I added temporary checkboxes to all my orders so I can click things off as I pull them. I like keeping both used and new in different colors, so new will show up in blue, used will show up in red. Definitely show your remarks. I think that one's a default, but that's how you organize your store. And then you could show things like the item number, the weight, and you can organize, okay, how will the order appear in your store? So I like showing it based on remarks, and that's how I organize it and pull from the left side of the room to the right side. Down bottom, you can select how you wish to see or the username or name of somebody and kind of some other minor icons for any order. But this page is very helpful. If you have any questions on any feature in here, just let me know, leave a comment, and I'll get back to you. But play around with it, and you'll find an order form that looks great and works for you. Next, we have the My Price Guide settings. Price Guide's pretty cool. It allows you to see what things are worth, what they might have sold for, and what prices you may want to list them for. There are several checkboxes you can see on the left there where you can select what you want to see in the price guide settings. Then you have some other features over here, so you can exclude incomplete sets. You could change the decimal places you want. And down bottom here, leave that typically as the default where it's consolidating currencies on price guide. So that would consolidate the prices for different international sales. But you could also display country flags or bulk and super lots. And then down bottom, this is for price guide based on what's listed for sale. I usually keep mine to in the country because if I'm listing something, I want to compete with USA sellers, not necessarily everybody on Bricklink, but that's your choice on how you want to do that. So this is just a way for you to modify your price guide setting. Then there are the My Search settings. This I typically leave as the default. I don't really change anything here. It just is set to exclude items in stores that don't ship to me. So I don't want to see them if I can't buy it. And then excluding items in stores that I may have put on a stop list. There are some other features here you can edit, but nothing crazy. This is just simply to modify your searches and filter out things. I hope you're excited for this next big one because it's huge. My store settings. Well, it's so big that I did a whole video on it. There's a link right there to the video, and then there's a link in the description. So that's a whole video because it's very involved. If you have questions, leave comments, please, and I'll gladly help. Our shopping cart feature here is pretty fun. This is the My Store shopping settings. It's a way for you to filter out what you don't want to see or what you do want to see. I leave mine as regular default, so I view everything. You have the choice to, how many items do you want to see per page? Do you want a list or a grid? How do you want it to be organized? Do you want to see it by color or by name? Then we have this up-down feature. Down is the default. It will show things numerically or alphabetically. So if there's part 1 versus part 4, you'd see part number 1 come up first. If you switched it to up, it would be vice versa. So you would see part 1000 before you'd see part 999. Lastly, we have the My Wanted List section. It looks very involved, but you don't need to do too much with it. This is just a way for you to get notifications for certain parts you may be looking for. If somebody lists one, you'll get notified via email or messages. Anything regarding your wanted lists and any features you want to change or adjust, even if you want to show a wanted list as a default when you're shopping, it'll be changed in this page. So not a whole lot to it, but anything wanted list related is there. Those are all the settings features. So now let's talk about ID pictures. ID pictures, it's just kind of the photo on your page. So mine's my blue spaceman. You could change yours to anything you'd like. There are just some specifications for it. Down here, I didn't know about this till I made this video, but this is my collage pic. It's just where you can upload a photo yourself for Bricklink, and they could kind of put it in a collage for all their members. I'll consider doing it, but I have not done so yet, and you could also make your choice if you want to do that. Next, we have the About Me section. This is just an area where you can give a spiel about yourself to the Bricklink community. Anybody has the choice of clicking this icon next to your name. It'll just say me, and then this will come up. They could read a little bit about you. Some people just like to say, how they got into Lego, why they're a seller or why they're a buyer, and maybe what their favorite thing about Lego is. For example, I love trains and Star Wars clones. Lastly, we have account info. I'm not going to click on this. This is simply where you can change your address, your username, your password, and very important things about your account. So that's where you'll do all that. This concludes the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. If it was, please hit that like button and subscribe to see more. I'll be posting more Bricklink content every Friday. And leave a comment if you have any questions. So we'll see you soon. Goodbye.